Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very pleased, thrilled, and really happy to be here surrounded by entrepreneurs. Well, I hope you're enjoying the journey and having a bit of time just to eat and drink as well, because you don't have a moment for that in the agenda, right? So today, I'm going to speak about investment at earlier stages. Well, no, but this is, no. Please, can we get the slide deck at the very beginning? The slide deck? No, at the very beginning. Yeah, that's it. Thank you. So, how many entrepreneurs in the room here seeking investment? A lot of you, right? Okay, so we're going to speak about early stage investment, how to get funded. As I've been introduced, I'm a professor at the Business School and a serial entrepreneur of my own, mainly in the digital environment. So you're raising money. And the point is, what do you want to happen with that money? I'm not speaking about how much money you want to raise or what are you going to do with it, but the result, the final outcome that you like to get out of this process. It is not about the tasks or the activities that you're going to execute. It is about the final result that you would like to get with that money at every specific moment. So it is about you, and we've got the opportunity to think of it for just some minutes. And as well, I think it is important that when you get out of this event, you take some actions. So you know what are your challenges today. What are your issues? What are your problems? And that you are able to somehow find a solution or some ideas for them so you can execute on top of. So we all know that we are starting from an idea. Depending on our approach, it could be an idea, a solution, or it could be that we found a problem and we stick to it until we get it solved and properly solved in the market. And our final objective, potentially, especially if we are in the technological industry, the digital industry, it is to become one of those mythological animals, right? So to get a valuation over $1 billion. So there is a process for that. It is not just a process for making our idea come true, but to get investment, to get funded. And I would like to remind something that we all know, but sometimes we forget. Because the term startup, it is not referring to a company that is 2 years old or that is about technology. It is a company that is seeking for a business model so that is able to replicate a business. And when we speak about business model, we're referring to being able to create value, deliver value, and capture value back. Because many people, when speaking about business model, they're referring to monetization. And it is not about monetization, especially in the internet environment. There are many companies, we could say, for instance, Instagram, that they didn't monetize it at all until they got sold. But even though they found their business model in terms of capturing value back was on the increase of the customer base. So whatever it is, maybe we're not getting money, we're getting recurrent business. So what do investors look for usually when trying to evaluate a potential alternative for investment? They look for a team, they look for a market. They look for technology. Speaking about a team, usually, I guess you may have seen those H's. They look for the hustler, that is the person that is having that idea, that starting point. We could call it the troublemaker as well. Is the person that's got the idea about the business opportunity, the market opportunity. We could have the hacker. If we're speaking about digital, we need to have coders or people that are knowledgeable about technology. They're really good ones. But in other industries, whatever it is related to their corresponding technology. Of course, we will need to have a hustler. Who's the hustler? The person that is in charge for making this technology, that value proposition, that product, palatable, digestible by the final end consumers. Well, it could be the final end consumers, or it could be companies. Those are usually the three H's the potential investors look for in a team when evaluating or assessing a potential investment. But I'd like to add another H. There is the hamster. What is that? It is the person or that people that are able to put things together, to add some glue. If anything is going to happen with a venture, it is because of the people that is in the group, that is in the team. But it is not just about the people that are the funding team, but the people that this funding team is able to attract to the project. You need to have talent in order to take your project forward, so that you need to be able to be empathetic and to attract these people that are going to sail that sea with you. In relation with the market, it is that there should be an opportunity today that is growthable, that we can enlarge in the future, so that it is about present and future opportunity. If we are speaking about a consolidating market, maybe this is not that sexy for a potential investor. Of course, when we speak about technology, it is not just that we've got a technology. It is that whatever we do, we are able to make it happen. So there is no major risk associated to that. In some cases, of course, there is. But if we find a way forward, we'll make it happen. Because it is not about the technology, but what you do with it. So coming back to this, I wanted to emphasize on those three elements of a potential investment. But on top of all those, there is another one that is much more important. That is execution. Ideas are worthless, so that execution is the point in which we should put all the meat. When we speak about execution, it is to what extent the team knows what to do next, what should be done. If they're coming up with ideas that are reasonable, that are constrained in the market, whatever, but they know how to proceed. They are not just math people doing weird things. And of course, for that, we may use Lean Startup, and we all know this, that Lean Startup is about focusing on the customer, failing fast as possible, learning throughout the process, and this is the key core for the startup approach, doing it as cheap as possible and iterate. So it is not going to come just in a single shot, but in different iterations. You knew that already, but what about customer development? We could say it is a particularization of the Lean Startup approach, in which we have 4 different phases. We have to discover our customers. This is the first bullet that we have on the left. So we have to discover our customers, who they are, how they, and what is potentially the solution that is to solve their problems. Then we go to a validation phase. That is the second bullet that we've got on the screen. This is, we would say, the value hypotheses. We need to check them. We need to validate. We need to go through the process in order to make sure that whatever we put in on the market is the right thing. And on top of that balls, you get a figure that is, I guess you already know it, is the innovation curve, or innovation diffusing curve, or the technology diffusing curve. You may know already that, of course, the market could be split into different segments. Those innovators, early adopters, early majority, late majority, and laggards. When speaking about validation, many startups fail to understand that when they validate their solutions, their approach to the market, they need to do so with, first, people that are part of your market segment. But second, a sub-segment of this, there is people that are part, or companies that are part of the innovators or early adopters segment of the market. Why? Because they are the ones that are open to failure, they're willing to test new things, and they're willing to engage with you and provide relevant feedback for you, so you learn throughout the process, you continue evolving, and you move forward with your company. So it is important to understand that when we speak about validation, it is our target segment, and inside that, just the people or the companies that are the innovators and the early adopters. After that point, we've got customer creation. What does it mean? We need to go to the big market. We need to get the big numbers. While the first two balls, the first two phases of the customer development approach were devoted to validation, that was the objective for the customer creation phase is to generate income, to get revenue, to get money. And the latest phase, it is not just about the money, it is about good money, to get good margin about what we're doing. Why do we introduce the margin only at the later stage? Because every time we introduce efficiency in the process, we automate things. We're going against customer experience. So we should not take that hassle to the customer until the very end of the process, at least conceptually speaking. So in order to do so, we need to create MVPs, those minimum viable products, and run experiments that are going to confirm or not our hypothesis on the customer, on the problem, and on the solution side of it. So, moment for funding. You may already know about those Fs already. The FFF, the friends, family, fools. This is the first source of funding for you. But most companies, most funders as well, they forget about the need for investing on the project themselves. Of course, you as entrepreneurs are investing your time, investing your effort, investing many things. But no one is going to invest on your projects if you don't do it. So there is another F to add there in the list, that is the funders. So the formula would be, or the approach would be funders, friends, family, and fools. That maybe they are not that fools, but of course you need to be the first one investing your own money in the venture. Of course, if we do it, we should try to do it the lowest cost possible, because there is a risk associated to that. But how cheap should we do it? How can we diminish the amount of money that is needed? Well, some months ago, years ago, I found this definition, and I think it is really important for you to know. The approach is, well, we're not speaking about it should be that money or that another money. It should be the minimum possible. So instead of putting your own money, buying new things, using things at a cost, if you're able to get even funded by your customers, it would be even better. When do you go for funding? when you're not able to get that money from the customers themselves. That would be, I would say, the ultimate objective. Try to get the money from the market. So it is your customers, the ones that are validating your business model and saying, yes, we want this, and we want to pay for that so you can continue delivering your value proposition. So in the end, what we're saying is that we should try to bootstrap. We've got a definition for that, that is when you do things on your or at your own expense, your own resources. But what is the goal of this funding at this very early stage? We should not forget about it. The goal should be just validation, making sure that our hypotheses on the customer, on the problem, on the solution side of it are good. And maybe we're very close to traction, so getting customers, paying customers, recurrent business. For sure, of course, you will know about growth hacking, and that is helping us a lot, especially when you're bootstrapping, to reach bigger growth, to reach bigger traction from the market. And that should be considered within a framework in which you control your metrics. Metrics are those numbers that are going to help you take best decisions possible. First of all, I would say the only operational metric that we would need to consider at the very beginning is how you're doing in terms of achieving your goals. And when you're at the customer discovery or the customer validation stages, it is important to get to understand how far you've moved forward with the validation of your hypothesis. And then, when we speak about money, there are very, very few metrics that are extremely relevant. Customer acquisition cost, that it is related as well to the lifetime value. So if we're getting a customer that is very expensive, are we going to get back that money afterwards? But at very early stages, this is really something that it is not delivering any relevant information, because this is going to change a lot throughout the course of the execution of the project in the later phases. But there is another one that is the good one, the burn rate. How much money you're burning every month or every week, and on what? Because if you've got an amount of money and you know what you're burning every month, you know for how long you're going to be alive. And for SaaS companies, for the digital environment, in most of the cases, valuation in terms of funding by investors are based on multiples of this MRR, so the monthly recurrent revenue. Those multiples usually are between something like 10 to 25. It really depends on the context, and that context means geography, the industry, how's the market in that moment, or if you're getting other competitors, potential competitors of yours already invested. So this MRR usually are saying potential investors see the stage, not pre-early or pre-seed the stage, that you are interesting or potentially fundable, depending on the market as well, again, if you're getting something like $50,000 per month recurrent business. This is the MRR. Usually, this is a figure that is somehow common, depending on the market. So the point is, okay, we are getting to that point. And the questions might be, how much money are we asking for? And when? I would say those are not the right questions. The questions should be, what do I want to achieve? What do I need to achieve in the later stages, in the following weeks, in the following months? What is it? When? If we've got a phased approach, then how much money and what we are going to do with that money specifically. It is not about the money itself. It is about what you want to do with it. So the point is you don't get diluted, right? This is potentially the discussion. But if you ask too small, then that means that you're acting small, you're thinking small, and maybe you are not that good opportunity, or you're asking again too soon to potential investors to add money to what you got already, or that you don't know the dynamics of your business. You don't know how to make it happen appropriately. The point is then, you're not going to get a unicorn, but a little pony. Or this is the message a potential investor is going to get in their mind. So the point is, you're not reaching the activation energy. If you remember about chemistry at school or high school, that activation energy is the amount of energy you need in order to make a specific formula or a specific thing happening, right? The relationship between the different elements of a formula. If you're asking too small money, maybe you're not able to deliver that. This is not true. We cannot say, okay, as I got lower money, I'll keep on trying, doing things on the low run, and that's it, because I need to manage, because I didn't get that money. That doesn't work. There is a threshold, and you need to find your threshold. We are now speaking about the growth hypothesis of the customer development process. You need specific money to make sure that you're able to achieve your objectives. If you get less than that money, maybe you're in troubles, and you won't be able to reach that activation energy. That was related to the customer development process. So, time for review. I would say, when you're raising money, you need to identify what is the minimum amount of money you have to raise in order to make your business happen. Thank you.